I'm going to walk through the appointment reminder service, which was recently updated and expanded to include not just appointment reminders, but now we also do appointment follow-ups. To access my appointment reminder service, it's through the applications button over here on the left-hand side toolbar. What I want to go to today, of course, is appointment reminders. So where I've landed here is in the appointment reminders configuration panel. We have on the left-hand side a toolbar of different features that I may want to explore to configure and manage and keep track of what's happening with my appointment reminders. Now, my landing page here right now is showing me the 3 configurations for my particular practice about how we've set up our appointment reminders and how those reminders are being delivered to our patients. Let's have a look at what this configuration looks like here. When it comes to appointment reminders, the Brightsquid system sends out reminders to patients based upon 3 specific parameters. What type of appointment is it? Now, this appointment type is coming from the EMR, and my practice, my pretend practice, has the appointment type regular appointment, 15 minutes. These are the actual appointment types verbatim coming from your EMR. The next parameter is who's the provider. Your clinic may have a dozen or more physicians within it, but in this case, we're specifically focused on our 3 doctors, Dr. 3 Brightsquid, Dr. 2 Brightsquid, and Dr. 1 Brightsquid. The last parameter is when to send the messages. You can select 3 different time periods. So right now I've selected 2 days in advance. I'm going to add in 5 days in advance, and I'm going to add in 2 weeks in advance. So now I've selected 3 different periods on my calendar where I want to send messages in advance, assuming that the appointment meets the parameters defined above. Now you'll also notice underneath my little date selector option is this checkbox here that says send a notification immediately when a new appointment is created or changed. This is going to trigger a message to the patient as soon as you book that appointment in the EMR. So let's scroll down a little bit and talk about what we're actually sending to our patients. The Brightsquid system enables your clinic to send messages to patients over one of 2 channels or both simultaneously. And by channels, I'm referring to, of course, SMS text messages, as they're commonly known, or through an email. As I mentioned, we're pulling information from your EMR through the API connection. And what's going to happen is the system will automatically generate this customizable message to your patient. The text will say, Mark, your appointment with Dr. Brightsquid is coming up on November 2nd at 3 p.m. Now, if they get an email, there's a subject line and a message body. Now, in either case, whether it's an SMS text message or an email, the message is going to include a link. And that link goes to what we call the secure landing page or the secure content. The premise is traditional old-fashioned email and SMS text messaging is not secure and compliant for the transmission of healthcare information. So the email or the SMS text message that we send to the patient is relatively generic. It doesn't include any protected health information or PHI. Now the patient will then click a link in that email or the text message, and that will bring them to the secure content. Now, of course, there's a login component to that, which I'll show you in a moment. But once they've landed on the secure content, they are now within the safe PHI protected environment. And this message, which also includes the confirmation button that they'd click on to accept their appointment, this can also include specific information about the type of appointment that they're going to be having. And we can also include attachments and instructions so the patient can better prepare for that appointment. You'll notice that I also included, just as an example, a form that can be completed by the patient as part of the notification. This is meant to illustrate how patients can fill in a document prior to their appointment. The clinic then has a nice tidy little PDF. It's not handwritten, it's actually properly filled in, and all that information can go right into your EMR. So not only is the patient prepared, but also the doctor has read the preparation information, and all of that history is at their fingertips before the patient turns up for the appointment in your office. So if we go back to my appointment reminders screen, we can see here that I've configured my regular appointments. I've also got a specific type of appointment configuration for diabetes, and then pulmonary function tests. Of course, I want to be able to provide specific instructions to patients who are coming in for a PFT because there are particular things we want them to do before that. Now, All these types of appointment reminders are delivered to your patients before their appointment. But let's flip that around the other way and talk about how we may want to send a message to a patient after their appointment. Quite often, patients leave their appointments and they forget a lot of information, or they're not aware, they don't remember what they should be doing after the fact. Or maybe we just want to check in with them and send them a customer satisfaction survey to see how things went. This is what we do here with appointment follow-ups. So this looks very, very similar to what we just saw, where we define the parameters, the type of appointment that we're referring to here, who the provider is, and then of course what the appointment type is. Then same basic premise, we send them an SMS or a text message or both, that's up to you. And that SMS or text message will take them to the secure content where they'll actually see the message that the doctor wants them to see after their appointment is over. Now, this message is triggered once the status is changed to done, or the analog of done in your specific EMR, so you don't have to think about it too much. It's already within your existing workflow. And as with the appointment reminders, you can include attachments. We could include forms. So if you do want to send them a specific survey form that Brightsquid hosts for you, that would be available here as well. If I jump down to my upcoming appointments list, this is showing me the upcoming appointments for one specific doctor that's within my system. Now I can switch between my various doctors here, but I'm going to stay on doctor number 2. What I wanted to show here is as the patients fill in and confirm their information, that information will populate here. So the status will change from booked to confirmed when the patient confirms their appointment. If they filled in any of the forms, like that diabetes screening form, this is where you'd be able to download that form and then save it into your EMR. This is also where we can see the schedule for upcoming reminders. So for this patient here, they're meant to receive their next appointment reminder on October 31st at 12:45 p.m. We typically will send reminders to patients at around the same time of day as their appointment is scheduled. And then lastly, if we go back up here to the logs, we can see what reminders and follow-up messages have been sent out recently. So that's a good segue for me to change my point of view over to that of the patient. So this is the email that the patient may have received. Again, this is customizable. We could have done a lot of special stuff with this. This is entirely generic. It doesn't include any PHI, but when the patient clicks on this button to confirm their appointment, they're asked to provide their date of birth. And then once they enter that information, they'll be shown that secure landing page that I talked about. So here is where our patient can choose to confirm or decline their appointment. If you don't want them to decline their appointments online, you can remove this button. That's a suppression tool that's built into the configurations of your Brightsquid account. So if you'd prefer them to phone you to confirm their appointment, you don't have to offer them a decline button. In this particular message, we included the diabetes screening form, which I'll come back to in a sec. And we included some instructions on where to park and how much it costs when you get to my office. So if we switch back now to the doctor's point of view and look at upcoming appointments, this is going to show me in a moment the survey results that our patient just filled in. It will load up and we'd be able to download his diabetes form from here. We'd be able to see that he's confirmed his appointment right here. So all that happens automatically. If you would like to see this in more detail, if you have specific questions, call me directly and we can talk about these scenarios and we can find a solution, I'm sure.